Hey guys, Frank from Power by the Hour Performance. In this video, we're going to be talking about the #1 most versatile power steering solution for your 5-liter Coyote, and it's the PBH Speed Drive. Believe it or not, Power by the Hour Performance wasn't always a hub for Coyote swap products. There was a time where we were just an automotive repair facility that did a few performance jobs here and there. Starting in 2011, with the Coyote motor coming out, we started seeing some performance mods and some cars coming in asking for installations, and naturally seeing the potential of the engine. Owner of the shop, Jake Long, kept looking at his 97 Cobra going, hey, I kind of want one of those engines in my car too. And that swap was the beginning of everything we've done with the Coyote swaps, including the Speed Drive. Now, the initial idea was to just get all the accessories from the 4.6 modular Ford V8 and hang them on the Coyote engine. So that's exactly what we did. We took all the accessories from Jake's 97 Cobra engine, power steering pump, AC compressor, and alternator, and had to situate them on the Coyote engine. Now, we wanted to try to hang them on there as close to factory position as possible because the idea was Fox chassis cars, SN95s, New Edge, even the S197 guys all had the accessories in the same position. And if they were going to start doing Coyote swaps, we wanted to make it as easy as possible so that the Hydro Boost lines on most of the 96 to 04 cars could be reused, the AC lines on all the 96 and up cars could be reused. Everything was a little bit easier to figure out. So naturally, with the design and the testing that we did through street driving, dyno testing, and even at the track, we knew we had something. So being things as they may, we were looking at all the cars coming in and out of the shop, getting their boost, getting their superchargers, and seeing all the power that they were making, and naturally wanted to apply that to Jake's Cobra. Now, that 97 Cobra was twin turbocharged before on the 4.6 engine. Now it had the Coyote in there, it was NA, it was already running really good, but we wanted to add some boost. So we reached out to our friends at VMP, and they helped us acquire a 2.3 liter supercharger. That TVS supercharger was the beginning of the next expansion of our Speed Drive. What it allowed us to do was to upgrade two things at once. We wanted to put the Coyote alternator on there because we knew it would be a solid upgrade. Not that the 4.6 alternator wouldn't work, but it was limited on how much voltage it could produce. Additionally, it didn't really allow us to do any of the plug-and-play wiring that the control packs offered. Now with the Coyote alternator in place, you could literally take a control pack, grab the alternator connector, plug it into the alternator, and get the 15 volts that Ford intended the Coyote engine to use. Additionally, with the new bracket, it allowed us to accommodate the Roush and the VMP belt drive. So now, not only do we have a naturally aspirated bracket kit, we also had a Speed Drive for Roush and VMP superchargers. On top of that, if you had the NA kit, you can always upgrade to the supercharged version for a lower price. The update and expansion to the Roush VMP belt drive was something that was pretty unique to the aftermarket, and it was actually already making the PBH Speed Drive one of the most versatile kits available for a Coyote swap, or engine swaps in general. Now that we had the Coyote alternator in place, we had to address one little thing, which was the one-way clutch that was built into a lot of the factory alternators. So we had to machine a custom non-clutch pulley so you can go ahead and swap that out if you had a one-way clutch. This is done mainly because Ford does not offer that alternator pulley separate. Now, once we had the Coyote alternator upfitted to the Speed Drive, and we had a naturally aspirated and a supercharged application, we knew we really had something, and it was probably going to be one of the most versatile accessory drive options for anyone doing a Coyote swap. The next step was to expand and add more supercharger applications and make some changes to help fit with as many applications out there as possible, so anyone doing a Coyote swap or using a Coyote engine in a build had a lot of really good options and solutions from Power by the Hour Performance. And when it comes to choosing your Speed Drive from PBH for your Coyote engine, you're going to see we have NA and SC applications. Now, the supercharged applications we're going to cover in the next segment of the video. This part of it's just going to be about the naturally aspirated options. All the Speed Drive systems from Power by the Hour Performance are going to place the power steering pump on the lower driver side of the engine. That's where they're found on all the modular Ford engines as well. To do that, we got to relocate the alternator. So what we do is we put that upstairs on the passenger side cylinder head on the timing cover there, and then we also put an AC compressor on the lower passenger side, which is exactly where the factory 5-liter Coyote AC compressor is found. The difference is we're gonna give you brackets to use 2 different style AC compressors. That way it's easier to figure out what your lines are gonna be and how to adapt them for just about any build you're gonna put a Coyote in. Now, if you're doing a swap on a Fox chassis car, an SN95, a New Edge, or even an S197 where you find the 3-valve, this accessory bracket kit, since it mirrors the 4.6 in the location of the AC and the power steering, is going to help you keep all the lines in order. Now, if you got a Fox body, naturally you didn't have a 4.6 in there. Once you upgrade to these accessories, you'll be able to go to the 96 to 04 cars and source your Hydro Boost, source your power steering lines, source your AC lines, and adapt them to the car. S197 and New Edge guys, you almost don't even have to open those systems. You can just leave them to the side, drop the motor in with our brackets, and bolt them on, and you're ready to rock. So let's talk about fitment to the Coyote engine. All the PBH Speed Drives are designed to work on the Mustang Coyote engines. Now, the Mustangs and the F-150s have some subtle differences internally, but additional on top of that is the timing covers are different, and they even have 4-rib versus 6-rib. So the F-150 timing cover is missing one big thing that we need. It's an idler pulley found on the driver's side of the timing cover that the Mustang does have. So we need to make sure that you have a Mustang timing cover on there. On top of that, you want to make sure it's a Mustang timing cover that has machine places for both tensioners. Now, if you're doing the swap from an F-150 timing cover to a Mustang, another thing to keep in mind is the balancer. F-150s tend to have a 4-rib inner sheath and a 6-rib outer sheath, where the Mustang has 6-rib on both. So we want to make sure that the balancer also has 6 ribs in both positions, in and out. That way it's compatible with a PBH Speed Drive. For the alternator that's compatible with the PBH Speed Drive, we need to source one from an 11 to current production Mustang GT 5-liter Coyote, and you can also use one from the EcoBoost F-150s. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that all the manual transmission and even some of the automatic later cars had a one-way clutch built into the alternator pulley. Now, since we're flipping the alternator around, if you leave that alternator pulley in place, you're just not gonna get any charging. So if you do find that you have that and you didn't get an alternator that has a clutchless pulley, don't worry, we do have clutchless pulleys that we offer in our catalog, and you can go ahead and order one and just switch them out. There are some differences between the different generation Mustang alternators. They all perform the same, but the case itself is a little bit different. As an example, the Generation 1 Coyote Mustang alternator has a power stud coming out the side and the connector sticks out the back of the alternator, where in Gen 2, both the power stud and the connector stick out the back. Now, our alternator brackets will accommodate both, but if you really want to get the ultimate in kind of compact setup, you're going to want to opt for that EcoBoost alternator you find from the F-150. It'll also work with our brackets, but the power stud and the connector come out the side of the case and give you some more room for your radiators and cooling fans. As an important note, if you do opt for the EcoBoost alternator, you may have to clearance the timing cover a little bit more than you would with a Coyote alternator. You also want to make sure that you have our pulley on there for proper alignment. In a factory Coyote powertrain, the computer handles all the voltage regulation. Additionally, in all the control packs that are available in the aftermarket, even from PBH, you're going to have a connector for the alternator, so you just plug it right in. Once you do, you have your voltage regulation taken care of. You got a factory Coyote alternator handling all the charging for the system, so everything's working just as Ford designed it to in a Coyote engine. For the air conditioning compressor, we're going to give you 2 options to pick from. One's going to be the modular Ford AC compressor found on the 4.6 and basically all the modular Ford V8s in that engine family. Then we have the Sandon SD7 compressor. Now, the beauty of that modular Ford option is that if you're building a car that's going to be in a Fox chassis, New Edge, S197, maybe even a Crown Vic swapped F100, or even a later F150 that had a modular V8, you'll be able to potentially reuse your AC lines and the AC compressor because they're all very, very similar. If you're doing a Fox body, or let's say a 79 to 95 Mustang, you're not going to have that AC compressor in place from the factory. But you can opt to use this modular Ford compressor and then get the factory AC lines from a newer model and adapt them to your older Fox chassis. If you're going to go the way of a custom AC line anyway, we do have AN adapters for the compressor, so you can go ahead and make those. Now, for your second AC compressor option, we mentioned that Sandon SD7 compressor. This compressor is widely accepted by the aftermarket. It's used in a multitude of aftermarket AC systems. For a guy building an F100, an older Mustang, let's say an old Falcon, Fairlane, Starliner, Hot Rod, Street Rod, this is really going to be the compressor of choice because it's very easy to adapt to aftermarket and older AC systems. It is smaller in size than the Modular 4 compressor, so if room is at a premium, this is going to be the one to go for. Just like the Modular Ford offering, we're going to put in the same location, which is the bottom passenger side of the engine, and we have a bracket to go ahead and accommodate that with very little modification to the timing cover. The Sandin SD7 compressor is also the only compressor that you can use from our lineup to work with our Speed Series pulleys that we'll show you at the end of the video. So for the big one, power steering. One of the top questions that we get asked is, how do I put a power steering pump on a 5-liter Coyote? Well, in the Speed Drive, we opted to use that Modular Ford power steering pump that was found on all the 4.6 and the 5.4 vehicles. Now this power steering pump is from a higher RPM engine family, being that it's from the modular engines, so it's up to the task of the higher RPM applications. On top of that, like we've mentioned before, we're going to put it back in the same spot that you would have found it on a 4.6. So anybody doing, let's say, a 79 to 2010 Mustang with a Coyote swap, this power steering pump setup in the Speed Drive is going to be a great solution because your factory power steering lines and reservoirs can be reused. Now when it comes to the power steering pump brackets, you'll see that we have two different options out there. We're going to have our standard profile and our lower profile bracket. For anyone doing a 79 to, let's say, 2010 Mustang with a Coyote swap, the standard profile is going to be a direct fit for you. You don't have to worry about paying the extra money to get the low profile version. That lower profile version is for just about anybody using an aftermarket chassis or something where room is really at a premium. So for the guys doing your old school swaps, your older F100s, your old vintage Mustangs, for the maximum room for all those aftermarket suspensions, the lower profile version is going to be the way to go. Now the Modular Ford power steering pump does not have a reservoir mounted on it, so make sure you check out our reservoir options and kits that we have online. Additional to that, we do have AN fittings for both the feed and the high pressure side of the pump, making installation that much easier to figure out. You can visit pbhperformance.com and check out all the different speed drives that we have available for you. Now, if there's something that you need that's not listed, feel free to reach out to us. We can always put together a custom kit for you to help you figure out your build and get your Coyote swap done. Additionally, if you just need one piece of the kit and you want to customize something yourself, we do offer all the brackets separately. All complete speed drives come with everything you need for the installation. You're going to have detailed instructions available to you on our website, and you're going to have all the hardware, all the brackets, belts, and tensioners in the kit ready to go, clearly labeled, so you don't have any questions when it comes to installation. Speed drives start at $749.99 with custom variations available at lower prices. And what we're going to be talking about next in this video are those supercharged applications. Now, as we mentioned earlier in the video, the Coyote engines definitely like boost. And we know going into just about any Coyote build, if we can add 8 to 10 PSI to that engine, we can easily pick up over 200 horsepower with pump gas. So there's going to be a lot of guys out there that want to really listen to what we got to say here if they're going to try to make that kind of power with boost and have power steering. What we've done is designed a series of our speed drives that are available as upfit kits or complete systems. Now what that means for you is if you start your build and you go naturally aspirated and add our speed drive to it in that form and then want to put a supercharger on, you can opt to get an upfit kit. And what an upfit kit's going to do for you, it's going to give you the pieces you need to complete your speed drive for that known supercharger that you've decided to go with. In all those cases, we leave the power steering pump and the AC compressor in the same location. So you don't have to change any of your lines or change any of your brackets downstairs. Everything gets changed on the alternator. Now, if you're starting your build with boost in mind, just select one of the blowers that we have a speed drive for and go ahead and order the speed drive for it. Now that kit's going to come complete with your AC, your power steering, and your alternator options, both tensioners, belts, hardware, just like it would for a naturally aspirated kit. Now to date, Power by the Hour Performance has developed speed drives for a couple different superchargers that are very well known for the Coyote engine. The first one was the Roush and the VMP derivative that covers the 2.3 and the 2.6 version of it. Additionally, early on in the Coyote life, Ford Performance had a rear feed Whipple that used the Roush belt drive, so it'll work on those as well. Speaking of Whipple, we have upgrades for the Whipple Gen 3 and the Gen 5, so if you're using one of the front feed Whipples, we have your power steering solution figured out there as well. The Edelbrock 2650 is the newest version to our speed drive family, and that is available in both 6 and 8 rib versions. So with all these supercharger options available to you either as an upfit or as a complete kit, That's another great example of how versatile the PBH Speed Drive is. Power by the Hour performance not only can give you the speed drive for those different superchargers, it can supply the superchargers themselves as well. We have offerings from VMP, from Whipple, and Edelbrock. Now what's important about that as you're planning out your build is that when we sell you that supercharger either as a tuner or a complete system, we work with the manufacturers direct to remove the pieces of their kit that get replaced by the speed drive. What that means for you is that it saves you money. It allows you to save money from the overall supercharger kit and apply that to the price of the speed drive system. So when you buy that supercharger from us with the correct speed drive attached to it, you're going to be saving dollars that you can't save anywhere else. Now when it comes to application for the supercharged version of our speed drives, everything is the same. Just like our NA kits, it's designed to work on a Mustang timing cover. You want to make sure you have the Mustang balancer on there, or at least make sure that you have 6 rib on both the inner and the outer sheath. They're designed to work with the dual tensioner timing covers, not the single tensioner, and you got to make sure that you don't have a one-way clutch on your alternator. The same power steering pump and AC compressor options are available to you. In addition to that, the Coyote alternator options are the same as well, so anything from 11 to current production from the Mustang, and then that 3.5 EcoBoost alternator with some slight modifications can be used. If you're interested in doing one of these speed drives and you just don't know what you're getting yourself into, make sure you go to our website. If you go to the top, you'll see a tab called Installation Instructions. And if you go in there, you can find by part number every single installation book we have for every combination that we offer. And you can take a look at yourself and see exactly what it takes to get the installation done. And you can read over the instructions while you're waiting for your kit to arrive. If you have any questions at that point, just reach out to us. We've installed them, we're enthusiasts just like you, and we can help you through any installation or any question that you have. All of our kits come complete with hardware, belt, tensioners, and all the brackets. All those brackets are made here in the USA. They are in stock and ready to ship. So now that you know all the options for the speed drive, what we're gonna do is show you a little bit of action with all the cars that we have video on that have the speed drive on board in real world applications. Check it out. So there you have it. The PBH Speed Drive has you covered, putting power steering on your Coyote engine in any swap with a variant of different applications. Naturally aspirated, all the way to supercharged applications. Even if you just got to relocate the alternator, we got you covered. Now the latest development in our product line that relates to the Speed Drive is our Speed Series pulleys. These Speed Series pulleys are one of the only out there that help dress up the accessory drive on your Coyote engine. So if you got an engine that's going to be visible and you want to take it to that next level, the Speed Series pulleys are the way to go. They bolt right on, they're made here in the USA. We're going to be covering those in an upcoming video, so definitely subscribe and check out our channel. If you have any questions, make sure you post them up down below and we'll be there to answer them for you. Catch us on Facebook and Instagram, and if you go to our website, pbhperformance.com, you can opt to sign up for our newsletter so you can get updates through there, and you can actually check out our blog. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.